Alright, so for this example, for working purposes, in the PDF brochure that I included within the section right over here, we're working on 9 different objects. But the same thing I tell all my students at the university, you don't really need to register the information for all the 9 objects. Feel free to select maybe one of the different categories. You can work with electrical furniture, you can go ahead and only work on the sanitary, or you can go ahead and work with general furniture, okay? Or if you want to practice this even further, you can go ahead and register information for all the 9 different objects, okay? So make sure you select one of the categories you want to put into practice. It is not required for all the objects. And before we begin, what we want to do is obviously create the 9 different elements, okay? I want to make clear that classifications and properties is available for pretty much every type of model or element you got within ArchiCAD. It doesn't have to be necessarily only for objects. You can apply information, you can apply classifications and properties for walls, for columns, for slabs, for beams, for doors and windows, for pretty much all types of beam elements. Even, for example, some 2D elements will also include properties. So keep that small detail in mind, okay? So before we start, how about we go over here, design. Let's take the object tool and let's position the electrical furniture we got over here. For the electrical objects, we aren't really going to use the object tool. We use the lamp tool. Okay, this is more for rendering purposes, but we can also recycle and use interior lamps over here. Okay, so how about we take a basic spotlight, which is going to be the recess spot over here. Position this first object. Let's create a copy over here. Maybe one more here. If I remember well, we got a suspended lamp. Well, this is electrical furniture. We got spotlight, then we got a suspended light, and then we got a wall washer. Okay, so let's switch this to the pendant lamp over here. Yes, I believe that this is going to be the pendant lamp. Wow, this one is actually huge. The spotlight is way too tiny over here, but doesn't really matter. Okay, and let's find any wall lamp. This one might work better. Yeah, I think that one, yeah, it's going to be this one. You can even jump into the model, I mean the light settings over here, and switch the type of lamp you want to use. For this case, the one closest to this model is going to be something like this. Okay, so it doesn't have to be necessarily exactly the same type of model. It can be something generic. Okay, and yeah, this type of lamp, well, it looks quite nice. I think this is a little bit closer to what we are trying to achieve. Okay, so this is going to be the electrical furniture. If you want to use another type of category, for example, the sanitary furniture, you use well, pretty much all the basic objects we can find in ArchiCAD. Let's go over here. Let's search for WC. So yeah, we got the pretty much most basic WC over here. Let's position this one. Let's create one more copy and one more. Okay, the other object is going to be a sink over here. Let's find something nice. Well, it's not going to be a sink, it's going to be a basin. That's how you say it in English, okay? And the last one is going to be just the shower kit. Just these basic objects. So these are the 3 we use for the sanitary category. And then for the general category, we only have one object, which is a general object, which is going to be the night table we got over here. So let's first off position that one. I'm going to go over here to the cabinets and shelves, and it's going to be the nightstand, this one over here. And for the rest of the 2 specific objects, what we're going to do is, for this lesson, I'm going to include these 2 objects. These are in GSM type of file extension, which is a native extension for an ArchiCAD object. So What you can do is simply take one of these objects. If I remember well, you simply drag it, drop it, and pretty much that's it. You don't really need to do anything else in ArchiCAD. So simply take the objects I'm providing you within this lesson, drag the first design chair, and then take the second design chair, drag and drop inside ArchiCAD. Keep in mind that you have to do this process in the ground floor. You can't do this in 3D. The same will recommended in the hot linked section. Okay, so yeah, pretty much with this we'll regard the objects. We got something funny going on over here, which is a little bit insane. If you got this type of problem, you simply go over here to the floor plan and section and make sure that you override the object surface. In custom settings, surface, you can select the first surface, which is going to be some type of wood, and the second one, which is going to be some type of basic white paint. Okay, and we got the basic designer chair. For the second object, the same will happen. Go over here, custom settings. Well, this one is in Spanish, but just search for surface, superficies in Spanish. You got surface 1, 2, and 3, and simply rearrange the surface for this object. And there it is. With this, we already created the 9 example objects we're going to use for this lesson. You can always position exactly the same model, but for this practical case, just make sure that it is similar to the examples I'm providing you within these 3 different lists. So as always, take a moment, make sure you first off prepare the objects, and now for the next lesson we can go on and comment about the property and classification manager.